Good afternoon, everybody. Today I'm chatting with Robert Eckford from Rua Gold. Guys, this was an interview that we had to do on the fly. Normally, we don't take interviews from cell phones and cars, and in this case here, it looks like Robert's actually joining us while being kidnapped by some... But we decided we had to do this one because Rua Gold is in the middle of acquiring an asset from Siren Gold. And what's interesting about this is that Siren just received an offer from Federation, and we thought, hey, let's get on top of this and see if Robert can speak to us about how the vote's going to go on Thursday or how it's shaping up, and to give us his thoughts on the transaction so that any investors who are into the stock that are making a vote have an opportunity to make a more informed decision based on Robert's pitch. So we wanted to get this done, and Robert's dealing with a pretty stressful time here. He was on his way to go meet with the Siren Gold people as we did this interview. So you could kind of see what we were up against, but we wanted to bring it to you guys who are following the story. All right, everybody, enjoy the interview. Robert, where are you joining us from?
I've just finished a dinner in Perth. I've done a last minute trip over here. We've got some interlopers coming through a bit of an M&A deal we're working on. So just on the move more than I'd like to be if I'm doing an interview with you guys.
So we normally don't interview people who are in the middle of being kidnapped, which it kind of looks like. You're not talking to us from the trunk of a car, are you?
I've just finished. We're in the process of taking over the main assets of Siren Gold, and quite an interloper that was announced on Monday morning Australia time. So I jumped on a plane, got down here, and I'm meeting with the Siren counterparts. Obviously, New Zealand's picking up a lot of attention, and so the whole move of being first mover advantage and getting the right amount of property down in New Zealand is picking up a bit of heat, and we're just trying to get the deal done down here.
So why is it suddenly picking up? Is like we see other jurisdictions in this environment where gold's obviously having a really good year, but in terms of the junior mining world, there's not a lot of interest picking up in other parts of the country. Why is it picking up in New Zealand all of a sudden?
What happened a week ago is New Zealand announced. Let's go back 9 months ago. New Zealand announced a fast track bill that was going to take permitting for new mining projects from what was historically and similar to the rest of the world, 3 to 4 years, taking it down all the way to 6 months. And a week ago, the 3 main mining projects, which is owned by Oceana Gold and Santana, they all got put into that fast track bill. Back in July, we already announced that we're joining with Siren and we're taking over their property and we're moving that project forward. And I think as we move through that process, the rest of the world is seeing that New Zealand is open for business. New Zealand is ready for mining, and other people are trying to move in. We've got the first mover advantage. We've already put the bid on Siren, and they've already rejected the one offer that's come in on them. But we are the front runner, and I'm making sure we're down in Australia, making sure that front runner bid stays true.
So is there a risk of this deal closing now?
We've got a shareholder vote on Thursday. So by the time this is live, I'm sure by Thursday, we're going to know whether this deal goes through. I'm here and I'm ready to negotiate it, and I'm pushing it through. So on the assumption that this deal goes through, we've got a huge land package and we've got an amazing piece of land in New Zealand. So we've got the right geology and we've got the right pro-mining government to push this project forward, and that's what we're doing.
I got to ask, so Federation's now going after Siren Gold. Have they reached out to you guys at all?
So Federation, we've got probably twice to thrice the market cap of Siren Gold, which is why we're acquiring them. Federation see us as the more expensive option, and so they haven't reached out to us. But the whole point of us acquiring Siren is so that Federation have no one else to deal with but us.
Okay, just so that maybe our audience kind of understands, what does the post share structure of Rua look like should this transaction close? And what's Siren plan on doing with their stake? Are they just going to maintain the position? Are they going to distribute it to shareholders?
Yeah, and Chris, great points, and maybe even taking a step back, like for any viewers that aren't familiar with New Zealand, there's three companies that are operating right now in the Reefton district. And the Reefton district is called Reef Town for a reason. Like the gold reefs of New Zealand live in Reefton. And this area produced 2 million ounces of gold at grades between 10 and 50 grams a ton. So we're in a really prolific greenstone belt of New Zealand. The exact same geology as the South Island, New Zealand, as Victoria Goldfields. So you're thinking the exact same as Victoria, Fosterville, Southern Cross Gold, really high grade orogenic zone. And we're trying to wrap up this land district. And so we've currently got 35,000 hectares. Our neighbors, Siren, who we've got a binding agreement with, and we have a shareholder vote on Thursday, have 80,000 hectares. So together we'll have 120,000 hectares between us. And then the third group in the area is Federation Mining, and they've got this little 4,000 hectare land package. They've got one historic mine. Between us and Siren, we have 7 historic mines between us. So we've got a way better land package. And we're joining with Siren on a 70-30 basis. And so we're leaving Siren shareholders with a huge amount of upside. Federation tried to interlope on this deal on a 90-10 basis. Federation have this crazy self-valuation of themselves that they're worth 90% of this district, even though they only own 4,000 hectares of the 120,000 that us and Siren own. And so what we're doing is we're really enveloping our exploration properties around Federation on the step one of taking over the Reefton district of New Zealand. It hasn't been touched by a significant exploration program since the 1950s. It's high grade. It's a greenstone belt. It hasn't been touched. So we're really excited to get in there. And I'm in Perth today to seal the deal with Siren.
So in terms of, so Federation's going to have, you said 40 of the, what was it, 120, 160?
Of the, Siren have about 4,000 of the 120,000 hectare area.
Oh,
so they have
4,000 of the 120,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Less than 5%.
And then how much will the combined entity with Rua and Siren have?
120.
Okay. Oh wow! So you guys are gonna have a lot more.
Way more. And let's add another perspective, is that Federation, and kudos to the management team, because it's a really world-class management team of Federation. It's Jim Askew, who is chairman of Oceana Gold. It's Mark Lemasseur, who's done amazing things for Evolution Mining. These guys have raised over 200 million Australian dollars for their 4,000 hectares in New Zealand. So you can only imagine what we can do with 120,000 hectares if these guys have already raised 200 million Australian dollars for their small property in New Zealand.
So what do the two, like if we're comparing Federation to the potentially combined entity of Siren and Rua, what do the drill grades look like? Like, is obviously, like, it's one thing to talk about the size of your land package, but really what matters is how much gold's in there. It doesn't matter if you've got 120 and they've only got 4 if they have higher grades. So maybe you can speak to that.
And so what they did was they went below that 700 meter land package. So this whole area, when I talk about it, it's had 2 million ounces taken out of it at grades of 10 to 50 grams a ton. So really high grade area. The mine Federation have started up is historically gone down 700 meters. They reopened it and they built a decline below that 700-meter historic mine that went down there in the 50s. And they've got a resource from 700 meters down to 1,500 meters of 800,000 ounces at 24 grams a ton. So really high grade gold, and 800,000 ounces. It's not a bad number. That's one historic mine. And that's what Federation have. And they've got an amazing land package there, 4,000 hectares. What we've got with Siren is 8 historic mines. They went on average down a couple hundred meters. So we've already got Federation that proved these mines in this district go down with mineralization down to 1,500 meters. What we've got is a mine that historically in the 50s only went down a couple hundred meters. And we've got this room that's completely open at depth, 8 historic mines, 8 quartz veins that were outcropping at surface that the old timers got into. They only went down a few hundred meters. So we've got now 300 down to 1,500 meters proven that these outcrops go down. And so all we've got to do, and what Rua's doing now, we've got a 10,000 meter drill program defined to go under these old historic mines and prove that all of them go open at depth and all of them are going to be economic mines in the future. So we've got 8 historic Federation mines on our property.
This may be a silly question, but are you drilling from surface, or are you able to get in there and drill from like the old shafts?
So right now we've got drills going from surface. We've got one drill. We've got 2 drills moving right now. We've got one drill going down under old workings that go down about 350 meters deep, pulling out historic areas that go down 2-meter wide quartz veins, really high grade. And then we've got a second drill rig that's doing near surface where quartz veins are outcropping and there's jogs on surface where we still see really high grade. We see at 30 meters, we're seeing 24 grams a ton. So that's really high grade near surface gold that's still available to us. So we're doing both. We've got deep underground drills turning 300 or 400 underground, 300 or 400 meters underground. Then we've got a second drill rig doing many 50-meter drill holes at near surface quartz veins that are still apparent to us.
Okay, so Robert, I'm going to pull you back to the transaction for a second. Obviously, there's a vote coming Thursday. You want this to go through, but I got to ask, if I am on the other side of it, what's my concerns here? When you have shareholders who are voicing their concerns about the transaction, what's their problem with it?
Yeah, I mean, I got word of the Federation vote that came through on Friday afternoon. So I was sitting in Vancouver Friday afternoon. I got word that Siren had received a second offer from Federation that was over the top of ours, and they weren't able to share the details with me for legal reasons, of course. But by Monday morning, I knew about it, and so what that Federation vote left them with was 90% of the shares of Siren was going to be for Federation. 10% would have been with current shareholders. And that's part of the reason is because Federation have raised $200 million and they've developed their underground mine. They haven't left any upside for exploration potential for the Siren land. That land package that Siren has huge potential. And so you don't want it in the hands of a developer level that's willing to drill into a 1 million ounce resource. You're not looking for a Federation who has 800,000 ounces and they just want to start production. You're trying to get it into the hands of an exploration company that's actually going to show that there's a lot more gold in that Reefton district and that the valuation needs to reflect that. And so the reason I'm in Perth is essentially to explain that to any Perth shareholders that are going into this vote on Thursday, that Federation, and I don't hold anything against them. They've done an amazing job in New Zealand, but they're constricted by size and they've spent too much on too little ounces in the ground. And really this whole Reefton district needs to come together as one, and it needs to be done at the right valuation. And right now, Federation aren't at the right valuation. we are, and we're the next step for them, and then Federation will come later.
Okay. Well, Robert, thanks for hopping on here. Good luck with the vote on Thursday. We'll be watching. I know it's a very stressful time with you trying to pull everything together, but we will be watching closely. And good luck with the vote on Thursday.
Thanks very much, Steve. I appreciate your time, and sorry I've taken this one from the cup.
All right, everybody, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this interview, please smash that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Also, let me know what you think in the comment section. Thanks, everybody.